Oh, here we go. Okay, great. So let me share my screen again. This one. And you should be able to see my presentation now. Is that there?
It is, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about AI and using AI for human flourishing. So without further ado, we're going to be looking at some of the opportunities, and then I imagine that anyone who's joining this will understand how the world of work is changing. And I just want to remind everyone what will not change, what is going to remain uniquely human, and how we can use technology to support rather than overwhelm us. And I talk a lot about clarity, which I've just been on my podcast talking about my lack of clarity today. So clarity is going to matter more than ever in this AI driven world. And it's more about our attention and, what we are doing with the technology is really, really important now. And one of the things which is amazing and both terrifying is the rapid advancement of AI, and the AI companies are actually quietly or loudly, however you would like to view it, as deciding what the future looks like for us all. And um, I am of the opinion that we all have a choice in how we use AI, and we also have an opinion as well on what we want AI to be for, and that we can start taking action towards that instead of letting the AI companies decide for us. And I think it's going back to that. What actually matters and what kind of lives are we actually trying to build here? And the human part of this. And I've seen this playing out in China, where they've just put some regulations in place lately where they are saying that they want AI not to replace jobs, and they want it to be more of a helpful resource in the world, which is definitely how I would like the direction to be headed. So at the end of the presentation, I've got some information that I'll share when I send out the recording with the various links to what you can do to get involved in that, because I think it's really important. And just kind of going back to the where all this tech is getting built, and a bit of the sort of the background is onto Silicon Valley. A lot of people might think it to be this sort of amazing place where there's all this great stuff which is happening, which is absolutely true. It is, but I've been to Silicon Valley a number of times, and the reality is there is also a very dark side to the tech industry. And I just saw that OpenAI has also filed for its IPO along with Anthropic, and the amount of money that is being poured into the AI companies is not at the expense of other of the current well-being of humanity. So all the data centers that are being built with, the ways they're approaching that, etc. So I just make people aware that we do want to get involved in some way and to try and make AI for work for humans rather than for the billionaires that are behind the actual technology, which is great, but it does need to have some more human oversight. So really going into like who gets to design the future. And it shouldn't really be something that happens to us. It is, it is how can we get involved in that and be more proactive in what is going to happen to our future. Um, so I think there's two things going on here. There's obviously will AI take my job? But and the sort of risk of AI itself, which is a whole other thing. But I think the other thing is just there's a lot of research coming out around how the attention and the way that we're kind of scattering our attention is making us less smart. And even me saying less smart is probably not a thing. It's probably less smart is probably actually not smart to say. But it's all about our attention span and our memory and that sort of sustained focus and critical thinking. It's not just for Gen Z where the sort of majority of this research has been done because they're now trying to put AI into some schools. It's about adults too. So the I'm called it's cognitive surrender basically. If we are not using it, we're losing it. So how I try to think of AI, and I even have this prompt in my AI is to question me at all times, not to agree with everything that I'm saying and to be really mindful of how we're using it. So yeah, just kind of it's what we decide to do now and how we decide to use it. And I've kind of got some suggestions on how we actually go about that. So yeah, it's all about how we start thinking for ourselves. And also what we should be getting better at, because I think we've sort of lost touch with some of the things that make us uniquely human. So what can't be automated? Connection, creativity. Well, some would argue, definitely curiosity, compassion, meaning, and joy, and that's not the features of a productivity or an optimization system. That's the features of our life. So I've talked a lot about what I see as being in this sort of new era of we've got this sort of old institutions sort of breaking down, as I would say there's a lack of trust in those institutions, and the new era, I in my personal view is going to need to reward adaptability, more self-awareness, more intuition instead of trusting authority, more intentionality, more emotional intelligence, definitely more nervous system regulation, more creativity around how we live and work, and more aligned decision making, going back to like what do we need to do for ourselves to keep ourselves on track in this crazy world. And attention is really the superpower there. And for me, going back to the sort of what AI can do for us is productivity, but it can't fix the clarity problem. That is going to remain uniquely human to us. We need to be able to decide. And for me, it's all about this era of like self leadership and sort of taking ownership for our own where we want to go and where we want to take our lives. And I created for my own self, who was kind of having this like existential, what am I doing with my life? Which many people may go through this. I created what I saw as an operating system for being human, and it's for me, I created this system called Balance OS, it was using AI, but it was to help me live more intentionally. Um, and it basically enables you to kind of reflect and review where you're at, and then look at your days more intentionally. And it focuses on what are you doing for your mind, like your clarity, emotional awareness, and then your body. I spoke in the other sessions this week about how your body stores what your mind ignores. So if you keep ignoring your emotions and pushing things down, it will actually result in negative impact on your body. And then, building connection. Connection is we're in one of the loneliest generations ever, or loneliness eras ever. So connection is really important. And then trying to find more direction and meaning. And it's not about going, what is my passion? How am I going to, find my passion? I don't know what my passion is. It's just taking small, meaningful actions that light you up in your life, because, it's not about, I need to have this big passion. It's just being more connected to yourself. Um, and inside balance, you get things like the reset, which maybe some of you have done. There's the challenges on your mind body relationship and purpose to set you in the right direction. You can set your vision and create goals around that. You can track your progress and see your flow score, understand your archetype and how you're wired, and start to live on purpose instead of autopilot. Because I know that is we get stuck into the repeat patterns, which we'll be going through in a bit more detail tomorrow. But this is a kind of way to kind of step back and look at it through a different lens. And the way that I've kind of seen it, and not really to compare ChatGPT, but it has the integrated chat, so you can actually use balance to get advice based on where you're at. It is a purpose-built system for clarity and habits and human well-being, rather than just going to ChatGPT and asking again a new question. It's just a different lens to look through it all. And yeah, so what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm really, really still trying to get clarity and momentum and focus on all of this, is that I coach people on AI and how to build what I'm building, and I'll show you some of it in a minute, and balance. And I do that either one-to-one or with teams. And for me, when I'm doing the individual coaching, I use AI as a tool, balance as that framework, and then essentially it's all about you as the individual. So I look at the human layer as the most important part of that, like with the life layer, like where are you in your life, which is all about your values, your, you know, what do you want out of life, and then how we use technology on top of that. So technology is the last part of that. And these are some of the things that I've been building using AI. I built the whole balance operating system on Lovable, and um, the my one-to-one coaching services on that. I'm using Substack as my publishing hub. And Substack is a great tool because it kind of then can distribute out to all the social media channels. You can use one piece of content. So the recording from this session today, I will turn into a podcast, and then I'll upload the transcript. I'll turn it into a podcast on Substack and publish it from there. And then I can turn it into clips for YouTube. I can upload the transcript of the podcast into Claude and create articles using it and clips that I can then put on my blog or on my Substack or um, basically I can just do so many things with it and it creates all the artwork and it does a lot of things. So I really use it as my publishing hub. And then I've got my personal website again built on Lovable, which you just basically ask it to do things, show it an example, and it creates all of this for you. And also my blog, which I have uploaded all of the content from my blog into a project in Claude that then has a sort of understanding of my writing style. And then I upload all my transcripts, all my presentations into that project. So it has how I speak, what I talk about, what I present about. I'll upload the presentation for today into that project. And I'll be uploading the transcript into that project. And then I'll be kind of continually updating that. And it's got hundreds of documents in it at the minute, and it's still only at 17% of the memory. And also, like I mentioned, I say into my instructions in Claude are that it is not to agree with me. It has to be, it constantly has to question me, and it does. And I used to use ChatGPT, and I still do for certain things, but I'm using Claude more and more. It does take longer to do things, but I feel like it's actually better. And I've also got all my Laurel bots, which if anybody wants to try any of them, I still need to tweak them, but these are in ChatGPT and they're super easy to make, but it's the only way you can really publish a project. Like Claude have projects, but you can't publish them for other people to use as well. And I used to have a whole team that did this. So when I was at Sustainably, we had like designer, engineer, product owner, customer success, sales, and marketing. And now I do it all myself, and you can do it all too. Also use Canva to yeah, I even create my presentations in Claude, and then I upload them in Canva. You can give Claude your like brand guidelines and outline of your presentation, and then obviously it knows all the things, and then it kind of can create the presentation, and then I can tweak it in Canva. Um, yeah, it kind of is so much simpler to do all of this. And yeah, like there are options. So I've been building on Lovable for the past year, and I've integrated emails. So there's a whole sort of sequence of things that can happen off of the back of interactions. I've integrated bookings, I've integrated payments, I've done the app, and it's actually getting easier and easier to do it. Because when I first started using Lovable, it was definitely not as capable. It did use OpenAI, now it's using Claude, and various changes have happened over the course of time. It kind of can help you with SEO, like or whether that really matters, or AI optimization these days. But yeah, you can connect all your projects together so they can share components, and across all my different websites, that helps as well. So uh, yeah, and I just wanted to hand it over to um, everybody now that is watching the replays or in the session to have a think about what parts of your life might feel really unnecessarily complicated and what technology could help simplify. And also thinking about your own life, what are the skills and qualities that you think will matter most in the future? And you can either kind of have a think about that. Well, obviously pause it if you're in the replay. But yeah, that's something to have a think about, because the way that I've built all of this is is actually really, really easy to do. I have no tech skills whatsoever. And I have a marketing background, and I love doing the sort of design and the sort of architecting all the pieces together. But yeah, it's really easy, really, really easy to do. It just takes a bit of time and gives you options. Obviously, if things are like, uncertain in the workplace, there's other things that you can try to kind of create something of your own, which is what I've been trying to do. And yeah, kind of going back to who gets to design the future. And for me, I am building technology for human flourishing. And what is human flourishing? So, for me, it is about the, it's more than happiness. It is about a combination of five elements. So the positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. And so I think for me, I really feel passionately that we should be building technology that helps, that supports ourselves. Um, and the Center for Humane Technology had this roadmap about, it was actually focused on AI, which I think is really relevant to what we all should be um, really focused on as well. So AI should be built safely and transparently. If AI companies are building products, those require testing before they reach billions of people, and um, they believe that the burden of proof belongs to the builder, not the public. So that is their kind of first thing. That AI companies owe a duty of care to the public. Their Center of Humane Technology compares this to pharma companies who can't skip their safety trials. Car manufacturers can't ignore recalls, and so AI companies must also be held to the same standards of accountability and liability, which they're currently not. And AI design should center on human well-being. So when AI is designed to seem human, and we know this has caused a lot of problems, it is building trust and capturing attention on, or manufacturing a connection. That is actually manipulation, not innovation. An AI must not be designed to mimic humanity. Um, AI should not automate away meaningful work and human dignity. So, um, looking to kind of what the way that China's building it, and it should make humanity more capable, not make human skill and labor worthless. And the productivity gains AI creates belongs to all of us, not the companies building it. And AI innovation should not come at the expense of our rights and freedom. So your data, your attention, and your behavior are not raw materials to be extracted and sold. AI must be designed to serve people using it, not harvest them. And all of us at the moment, are putting all of our information, like all of our IP, into these machines. And I actually noticed that Bernie Sanders has this campaign that in the US that the population should own shares in the AI companies, and because of that reason. And then internationally agreed upon limits. So without agreed limits across nation, AI can be weaponized, and we've seen that, to surveil, manipulate, and destabilize at scale. And governments must coordinate now before the lines are crossed. And AI power should be balanced in society. So the people most affected by AI have almost no voice at this point in how it's built or governed, and the future AI must be decided by all of us, not a handful of companies and governments. So that is kind of the stance on the Centre for Humane Technology, which I'll send out the link to after this. And you can also join some movements on it to kind of petition the government to pause these dangerous frontier models. I mean, I think, where we're at with the capabilities of the AI models and using them for specific purposes is brilliant. But when the models themselves are starting to do their own thing, which is actually happening, we really need to be aware of what the frontier and super intelligence capabilities could be. And even Anthropic is now saying that we should have a pause, but whether they actually mean that is another thing. But yeah, I'll share all the information after that. And then there is also a new Netflix documentary called The AI Doc, and that has been released in the States. I don't know if it's over in UK or Europe or whatever yet, but that's definitely worth watching as well. I have definitely written to my MP, and I've joined Pause AI and Control AI and signed up to the Centre of Humane Technology as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of try to make the build, and it's all about kind of getting other people's voices heard, and also as data centers are being thrown up, being aware that it does have an impact on the local communities. There's increased energy costs, water usage, because they're being built without other cooling systems. So they're using, billions of liters of water. And yeah, being powered by horrible things like methane gas and all sorts of other things that are going on. So yeah, so that is a snapshot of what we are going to be, what we've covered today. And like I said, balance and what I'm trying to build is not about having all the answers. I definitely do not have all the answers. If I did, I would be rich. And yeah, taking the steps on a daily basis and getting into a rhythm of reflection and pausing and doing things that support you with tech, and not just feeding these AI billionaires. So I might just pause the recording if I can do that just now, or stop the recording. Let me see. I always struggle with stop recording, but not stop sharing.